brothers on the microphone. You already know what the time is. I handle my biz. It ain't no sleeping on the job. Open up your eyelids. We back working on the craft, doing what we do best. Full court running the press. A couple of vets. By request is just two black brothers discussing everything under the sun. Victorious run, rushing for the touchdown. 2-point conversion. We not kicking. We philosophizing with pole politicking. The DJ, period, point blank. The choice ain't too difficult when we do what the mother folks can't. In the paint, we going hard, cause we gotta be. Draft pick, lottery flow, sacred geometry. That's right, the people do so much talking. They close their mouth when they hear grown-ups talking. I showed up often doing more of the work. It's 4 eyes, now who you with? Well, spoiler alert, it's just two black brothers on the microphone. Getting live for the interview. It's just two black brothers on the microphone. They might teach you a thing or two. It's just two black brothers on the microphone. Tell them if your baby mom asks. It's just two black brothers on the microphone with a motherfucking podcast.
Yo.
Yo, what's up? Gotta switch rooms on y'all.
Podcast.
I think I got the lighting right now though.
All right, let's do it.
Let me see. I probably can dip back. Y'all can see me now a little bit.
Yeah, you better.
What's up? What's happening?
What's going on? We got the homie Dlabrie here. It's DJ Pierce, my brother Pope Politic, and you are tuned in to the Just Two Black Brothers. What's going on with you, sir?
Man, just on the grind, just keeping it busy, man, keeping it lit. Just got back to the States a couple weeks ago. So just staying on point, trying to keep the momentum going. You know what I'm saying? I heard a lot about y'all, man. I got love for y'all, man. I seen some of my homies on this show before.
Oh yeah,
and, I've been looking forward to building with y'all.
What's up? Who's some of your homies?
I think y'all did something with Rama Jamal.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my crew, man. He's in my same crew, and we both rock together with the Hip Hop Congress and Rendezvous Records. You know, we got our own little Wu-Tang type thing. You know, the hip hop crew, Rendezvous Records, RDV. He a part of that, so he on the new album. And we've been rocking for years. But I seen my homegirl Aries. She set up a lot of interviews.
Oh, Aries, yeah.
That's my folks. Yeah,
Aries still plugged us with a few people.
Yeah. That's my dog right there.
Yeah, man. We trying to keep it. You know how the game go, man. So I like it underground in you, man. So I like to support the underground much as I can, bro. Cause and then even like you got publicists. They got a lot of dope artists that people might not know of, but you got to give them that chance to tell their story sometimes because people need to hear it.
Right.
Like
exactly.
Aries, even MJ, like MJ give us some good people, Aries, Dove, James Dunn, that's some of the people we work with. But yeah, that's cool, man.
Right. Yo, yeah, MJ is a beast, man. She's super solid, man. Shout out to MJ. Showing much love.
With some, like she give us the up and comings and the underground people too, but then at the same time she give you some big names. So
oh yeah. She definitely be rocking with the legends for sure. Yeah, that's how I got plugged in with her through my man Doodlebug. He connected.
Okay, yeah, we had Doodlebug on too.
And she been hooking me up lovely, like keeping my stuff out there rotating well. So, and I go way back with Eris, man. She was a part of Hip Hop Congress in the Sacramento area way back when I was doing the national leadership with Ramen. She was doing some local leadership with the press stuff. Like she had her magazine and stuff like that back then. So I first heard about y'all through her interviews because she was doing some PR for me. And then luckily, look what happened. MJ set us up. It's rocking.
That's how it's supposed to work, man. Like a real talk at the end of the day. We supposed to just look out for each other, network with each other. You never know. Shit, man. I'll be surprised by some of the people that be coming through here, man. Because I feel like we in the game now, but when we was first starting out getting good people, you be a little starstruck and shit. But
right. Hey, I'm gonna pull my chair up. So I could be like get my lighting a little better for y'all.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say I know one thing I like too. Like I just like how he heard of us from the other way. Like he said he heard from the email blast or whatever.
Yeah.
So I like hearing about that because that let you know like people be like sometimes when you're doing
people
it,
tuned in.
like Yeah, like sometimes you be like, damn, but like, nah, people be in tune with us. We got it. We doing it. We in the
So where y'all
studio.
out of? Are y'all in Atlanta?
No,
Are y'all out of Atlanta?
Nah, I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Poe down in
San
Southern Cali.
Diego. San
BK, there we
Diego.
go. And you said Southern Cali?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I grew up in Sacramento though.
Got you. Okay. So
Yeah,
so they go to ties to that. So you know Eris since way back too then.
No, I just met her, but I left SAC in 2000. I joined the Marines.
Right. I seen that. I
So
seen some of that on your Instagram.
I ain't been back to live since then. So I can't.
Right.
I be trying to call myself a Cali nigga sometimes, but I be thinking like, shit, man. I ain't been in Cali since 2000.
Man, BK to Cali, man, it's our family though. You feel me? I shot a video out in Brooklyn in was it Crown Heights, Canarsie?
Oh yeah. You was with the West Indians too. Then the Jamaican.
Yeah, it was lit, man. We was doing this little documentary with these students. These students that was doing like some hip hop and debate program. And one of the girls I was working with, I was helping with that program. She was doing a documentary on these kids in Crown Heights, and she was using hip hop to do debate classes and like to wiggle them into the debate circle. And then we end up shooting this video. I got this song with Dlabrie called "Stay Black and Die," and she shot some of the video for me in New York because she was going to NYU at the time. So we did the documentary parts and then we did the video scenes at the same time. So it was kind of like they taking me on a tour through Brooklyn. Oh, yeah. We on the bus. We rocking with these youngsters. They in high school. They showing us the block, and we got somebody try to steal our camera. It was crazy, but at the same time, I'm doing video scenes for this Black Power song with Dlabrie. They wasn't with me, but they rocking in BK. They kind of, I guess they might have came together in BK as a group. Yeah. And so I'm out there rocking that song, and it's like we on the block, we raw. We ain't got no security, nothing. I'm the security. So it was a crazy experience, man. I spent a lot of time in Brooklyn. I got a lot of homies out there. Yeah, a couple cats from Brooklyn on the album and everything. So I got a lot of love for New York. I always say in another life I was born out there. But I'm a Bay cat. My family from Sac too, because my family that's from the Bay ended up moving to Sac when I was real young.
That's how it worked too. That's how when I was living there, everybody came from the Bay to Sacramento. So you didn't know who was from the Bay because shit, everybody starts thinking Sacramento was the Bay because everybody in Sacramento was saying they was from the Bay. But
I mean, it's so close.
Came from San Francisco and Oakland though.
Right. I mean, I was kind of saying, I was talking to the homie from Making It Making It magazine in Atlanta. You heard of him? Yeah. I was talking to him, and he had put a post out trying to talk about Atlanta and the regions, and if you from here, can you claim here? You know that usual debate.
Girl just put a song out.
That girl, that song tight though.
Yeah, that song hard. But the girl just put a song out recently where she was saying if you from this part of Atlanta, you ain't really Atlanta. You ain't really from Atlanta if you from like College Park or you from
right. That's kind of what that must have been where he came up with the concept because he kind of put it out as a like something people would want to talk about, like a hot topic. And I know everywhere I go, I done been all over the States performing overseas, all kind of shit. And I noticed that's a repeated theme in every region. It's like there's those dividing lines. Like even in Oakland, we got East Oakland, we got West Oakland. And then we got North Oakland, and so like it's always when we was growing up, it was kind of like I'm from East Oakland, so like when I would venture out to downtown in West Oakland, I just remember people start saying, you know, this they side of town, and like a couple of my homies got roughed up being in the West, and like it was just like a high school rivalry. It was just a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. So like me, I've been all around the Bay, but like. Being from Oakland, it's like that's like the place a lot of people know the most as far as hip hop in the Bay Area. So It's like so many regions though. It's similar to New York. Like we can almost say sometimes we got like we almost sometimes call it the boroughs of the Bay. So we go through that out here the same way. It's like, you know, it's just like how you remember back in the days how they had the borough beefs in New York. You live out there, so you know the history. like the Bronx version. And they getting that Queens and
you had KRS-One, MC Shan, Nas, all of them beefing over the
right.
The bitch is over.
And then I was just looking at the and I was just looking at the Raekwon Vlad interview, and he was talking about how Staten wasn't getting mentioned enough, and they had to let fools know when they came through the other parts of New York when Wu-Tang blew up, like Staten and da-da-da. And so, like, I just was thinking about that. That debate always comes up with Sac and the Bay. Is Sac the Bay or is it not? And, like, I'm just one of them diplomatic guys. Like, my family from Sac, my mom from Frisco, my dad
from the Valley, though, bro.
Yeah, so Sac is like home.
Sac, if we being honest, Sacramento was the Valley. Like,
that's what people...
But people, because the San Joaquin Valley, you got like Sac, Modesto, Stockton,
right.
You know, when you get closer to that water, that's when you going into the Bay, like Vallejo.
You got to go to Fairfield way, right.
Yeah, Fairfield.
But to us, like I still like, even though Sac is, it's kind of like when I go to LA, I always feel like, even though, like, technically Hollywood is separate from the Valley and Compton, and even when I go to LA, I might dip through all of them. You feel me? Right. So in the end, I'm not from LA.
All that shit, right?
Yeah. So when what I told my homie from Making It Magazine was, the farther you get from that region, the more it doesn't matter. Like, once you get all the way to the West Coast, people's like New York. And if you ain't ever been there, you might not know the difference between it's all New York to
you.
You
might get that shit all the same. Yeah, you don't know the line already.
Right, and then my New York or my homies from the East Coast will be like, yo, bro, I'm in Cali. And they'll be like in San Diego, LA. They'll be like, pull up on me. And I'm like, man, I'm up 7 hours.
Hey, 24 hours away.
Y'all want to hear something crazy happened to me this morning? Man, my homie, he was my homie in the Marine Corps. He called me at 5 a.m. And I'm like, damn, I'm asleep, right? So then all of a sudden I hit him out, like, what you want? I was like, what's up, man? I was asleep when you hit me up earlier. He was like, yo, I'm in Cali. And I'm like, where you at? He's like, I'm in San Jose.
Oh,
you like
18 hours top to bottom, they ain't knowing. And same thing. But see, I make that same mistake too, because like every time I travel, I learn something new. And like, even when I used to go to Sac, being with my family, like my cousin rapping Sac, and like I know all the Sac rappers. I've been knowing all the Sac rappers growing up in the Bay. You know all the Sac rappers. Back in the day, it was more like we didn't really say the Bay as much. We used to rep our city. So it was always Oakland, Frisco, East Palo Alto, Richmond, and Sac. That was more like NorCal rap. So we didn't really say the Bay all the time until I remember.
Northern Cali.
We didn't say it as much, but like people said it, but now it's like this Bay unity thing where we call ourselves the Bay as a whole. That's when it's like, and then when Mozzie and them came out, it was like, well, we don't want to be grouped in with the Bay all the time. So I think that's how the debate got stronger, because once it's just like DMX and the Lots in them, they from Yonkers. They not technically, I heard that's not technically New York City, right? But to me, it is.
Yonkers is like a cousin.
Exactly, and that's how we think of Sac. So to me,
facts.
Right. So for me, being from here, I'm gonna say DMX from New York, and sometimes by mistake I just group Philly, New York, New Jersey, New York. I call it. Sometimes I'll refer to the East Coast. I'm thinking Boston, DC, New York, Philly, Virginia, New Jersey,
all that, Maryland, Baltimore.
Right, but then, like a lot of times when the media refer to Cali or the West Coast, to us, we feel like they mostly mention in LA. But like they'll say West Coast history and only mention like NWA, and we like, dang, it's like we got all these.
Niggas forgot about E40, SIBO,
right?
My nigga Sally Sale, all them up there.
And in other words, I'm just saying, well, the closer you get to a region, the more they break the areas down to you, and you start to respect each region. Like, I didn't realize College Park, when I used to hear Jermaine Dupri say that, I didn't realize. I knew it was like Atlanta, but like I didn't realize if it was a city or a region. I didn't know that like that's its own thing till I went down there and saw the landscape for myself. I'm like, okay, this is This is downtown Atlanta. This is East Point. This is Old Nat Ave. I learned it from like it's like I'm an explorer. Like I'm out there on the road doing music, and you got to get welcomed. So I did the same thing.
Yeah, you got to do it on your own.
And so I learned basically you got to respect every region you go to, and even the small towns. Like you can't just shit on the towns in between, because when you on tour, those sometimes be the towns like. If you're not the biggest guy, the biggest star, or whatever, you go to Chicago, you know, it might be a dark show, it might be a common show, you might be have to get in where you fit in Champaign or in the middle somewhere, and sometimes the middle shows on the way be the best ones, like where you get the most love, because you might not be the mega star like that. But so I learned to respect.
Cool with you though.
Yeah, you can't underestimate no regions or nothing like, and like Oakland cats, we cocky. A lot of us be like, we used to bang, not bang like gang bang, but it's like, man, I'm from Oakland. You beat your chest and you like, but then it's like, you can't just be doing that, because I being from Oakland, I seen Oakland cats go places disrespectful, and you know we ain't scared. But then it's like ain't nobody scared. So you know it go every direction. Like I see a lot of cats moving around, and they think their hood the only hard hood. It's like, man, I look at it as best to just respect where you at and learn, and just kind of evolve. But you know it's kind of it's all fun.
You had mentioned Vlad TV, man. Y'all ain't heard the 2 Chainz song yet?
Which one?
Yeah, he got a song called Vlad TV. And
I haven't.
The hook is like it's a dude singing. He said, I watched the nigga go on Vlad TV. He told on himself about bricks.
What?
And we know that this dope ain't gonna sell itself. Yo, that's my shit. Cause you know what it is? How many people that went on that damn platform and
gave it all away?
They done told on their homie.
Hey, it's like hypnosis or something. Like it's like people just get. It's like the psychiatrist. Like the psychiatrist be like sitting in the chair,
make you feel comfortable and good, and
you be like, I ain't finna tell you nothing, man. These my deep dark secrets. And you get on. It's like Get Out. You get that little tea chiming, and you like, man. When I was 5, my uncle, man, he took me to the shooting range, and he didn't even put the earphones on, and you crying in the seat.
But ain't that what Boosie told? He told the nigga he gave his 8-year-old a lap dance and shit. I'm like, nigga, why you telling that nigga? You got your son some head from a stripper and he ate. Come on, my nigga. Why you talking about that shit on TV?
Hey, this is a deep topic though, bro, because I talk about this. I'm the same, bro. I'm not trying to sound like I'm like saying other people do it and I don't, because when I get comfortable, you know, if I'm on an interview, I start to talk and just sharing stuff. It's not like I'm automatically thinking to, like, you might say something, somebody asks you a question, you might say something just naturally like you're talking to your homies. And then like you hear somebody, you don't even know nobody heard it, and they like, oh, you said you didn't like this album, or you mentioned this crime you did, or you mentioned your ex, and that's his girl now, and you like, damn, I didn't even mean it like that.
And that's why we don't ask those questions, because if we see you comfortable, man, we already know, like, all right, if you make somebody comfortable with conversation, they gonna probably tell you some shit. So we kind of
can set a nigga up.
We don't ask that shit, because if we did do that, we probably get people confessing this little dumb shit on here. So we just kind of like stick to like regular shit, because I know that people want to hear the drama about a person.
Right.
But there's other things that people can like you for, you know, like if you a philanthropist. Hey, I ain't really just learned that word, but I just learned that people who don't really do shit put philanthropist on the front of their shit. You got people
right. Appreciate that. Artists need people like y'all, man.
No, all day. Look, but
we need like, that because some people set you up and they just love your drama, and you like, okay, it's cool to talk and laugh, but it's like if you just making me the butt of the joke, it's like that's not really fair, you know? Because I've done media too. I had a few radio shows over the years, and like I had to learn, because when I was first starting, with my first few radio interviews, when I was starting to actually get asked questions, a lot of times, like, you know how when you first start, you get the most terrible interviewers, like on college radio, or like when they don't really respect you as an artist. When they don't, it's not so much them sometimes. Sometimes it's just that they don't really respect you or know you as an artist. Because I'm new, I'm coming on the scene, I'm raw off the street, and They just like, oh, he ain't nobody. So, well, how'd you start rapping? And it's like, and then you say 5 things and they cut you off. And it's like, well, tell them where they can find you. And you like, and you ain't got no media training. And you start getting mad. You like, man, what is you trying to make my interview look bad? But now I understand how it works. Like you got to kind of, it's like a tennis match. Like if they vibing with you, you can bounce off of them and vice versa. But
we don't like the ones where like they giving 1-word responses. So because you know if you ask 4 or 5 questions, if it's a good interviewee, you gonna that shit could last a good hour almost. So
you're right.
So it depends on that question. But I was reading your bio, man. But first I was listening to some of the old music and some of the new music.
I appreciate that.
So I see you was a fixture in the Bay with some.
I mean that's an honor to even hear that. Feels like a huge honor to even hear that from you, bro. Like it's been a long time coming.
I was checking it out, man, because I was like, damn, he been around for a minute. But I did see did the style shift? Because I know the newest song is like a horrorcore almost.
That's a good point. I'll be joking with MJ about that because it's so funny, bro, because my style ain't shifted. It's just I'm one of those artists, bro. I'm one of those all over the place artists with different vibes. And it's like if you get to know me, you kind of see if you looked up my stuff, you probably see as you get to know me. I just have a kind of I got a versatile style towards my approach is like that. So like I got songs like that song is kind of like a concept song. It's a theme to it. And so it's really a one-off. I don't really do horrorcore. Like that's not really my thing. But like I can rap on anything. I could come with the concept. I'm an extreme concept guy. So like that's like a song. That song was actually about a specific topic where I was using the vampire world and the nightlife as a metaphor for the time I spent in San Jose as an artist. I'm from Oakland, but at one point I lived in San Jose, which is it's like another version. It's like another borough of the Bay. Silicon Valley. That's where the internet came up. That's kind of where I went from like my younger years to like a young man. That's where I went. And I kind of started popping more when I left. Like I was in the hood rapping and stuff like that. But this before the internet, before social media, barely even instant message and email. So I was just doing, rapping on the street, TV shows, like just the local stuff. I had my cassette tape and my fast dubbing. I had my demos to the B-sides. I was known as a hot topic. I say a hot prospect in Oakland, but I really didn't have no albums and tapes. I wasn't like on a label. Like I was trying to get on the label. So I was just up and coming. I was paying my dues. And so when I moved to San Jose, I was kind of turning into a grown. I was hitting 21. I just had my son, and I started working in the community, working with kids and stuff. But I was already rapping. So I ended up joining this group. And that was like my first real run at the real deal. Because I was in this group that was kind of like in 2000, it was kind of like something like how the Fugees was. It was 2 dudes. One was like the political, cultural dude with the dreads. And then one was the hood dude, his brother. And then the girl. And then I was kind of like the John Forte. I was the extra solo rapper, like the up and coming. So I was like the hype man. I was like I was like Pac with digital. I was doing that. Yeah. So we started making some moves. Like but I wasn't really, I was still had to listen and follow direction. I was just a low man on the totem pole. So when that group broke up, I ended up having to go solo. And that's when I became Dlabrie, the solo rapper. And it just, the momentum of that group kind of had me kind of already in the right position to become a solo rapper. But it took a while. And so anyway, those early days in San Jose when I kind of met like Kung Fu Vampire, he is the one of the biggest, if not the biggest rapper from San Jose, but he's a horrorcore style vibe. Like he's in that Tech Nine world. So like he went that direction. Yeah, he in that world. He tours with Tech Nine. He got, he just took that lane and just ran with it. And we was friends way before he started dressing like the vampire and all that. So it's just one of those things. You go back with people and you just honor them later. And so, and then Tracks a Million was my dog too. Before he even was called that, we was rocking tough. So it was like, that song was like my tribute to those times in San Jose, those times in living out there. It was just different. Being from Oakland is a different experience. And so I would say, you know, we was a part, you know, connecting with Tracks, being from Oakland, the mecca of Bay Area hip hop, going there, which was like a place where cats wasn't getting the recognition. It was like I kind of took a road less traveled, and I ended up linking up with Tracks a Million at the right time, right before the hyphy movement jumped off. So it's just one of them weird situations where I was always the backpack rapper in the gangster rap era. I was fighting for that. My favorite rapper is Del the Funky Homo Sapien. You feel me? And so if you listen to Del and you listen to Vampire Network, like you might even see the connections, because that was my favorite. Like Souls of Mischief is my favorite group. And so I was in the Diggable. Yeah, that's my style. Like I was Far Side, Diggable, Tribe. Like we was banging that when gangster rap was like playing all through the streets of the West. We was kind of like the subgenre bumping the other, like Common, and you know, we was getting teased and stuff. Like, oh, you coming with that lyrical shit. You coming with that East Coast shit. Like that was the lingo back then. So anyway, when I moved to San Jose, I ended up finding that love out there, and I started kind of bringing my homies from Oakland, and Tracks was linking with Kick the Sneak, and I went to school with all them. So it was just like we was building that bridge between that area, and it was the perfect timing because then the hyphy movement hit. And so for some reason, being my where I'm from and the way it all panned out, like it just started linking me to the hyphy movement and that vibe of Oakland, like that. It started kind of bringing me back to the hood Oakland rap. But it's like my style always been versatile. So when I did Vampire, it was just a tribute to San Jose and the nightlife and the nightlife we used to be involved in. Because San Jose is a much more downtown focused city. And it's like at night, we'd be out, youngsters, we 20, 21. You know, we got our underground albums. This is before anybody had, you know, before cats had YouTube videos, and we hustling, like selling CDs for $10 and selling weed on the corner and going freestyling, snatching the mic and fighting bouncers, and you know, so that was the life we was living. Like I'm coming from the hood, and I'm coming from a backpack rap perspective in the hood. Now I'm in San Jose in this party city with college right there. And I'm like, I'm not in the middle of the drama of East Oakland no more. It's like I'm in Silicon Valley with internets and learning how to email, working with. So it's kind of like I was just, you know, I sum it up like this. You know the song Tupac had on Me Against the World, Old School?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know how when you heard Pac rap, and I was around when Pac was out here. I was around with the Digital Underground days. I was a youngster, but I was around. I met him. I've been around that. And so Shock is my dog, like Money B. Those are all my mentors. You feel me? So like, you know how he always rapped and he always told these stories, but it always seemed like his story started in the Oakland days. Like to me, I always felt like, because that's when he really started having stuff out. I always related his music to his Oakland story. Yeah. But when he did Old School,
that shit was hard though.
But it was like the only song he had like that, like where he really said his New York history. You know, you feel me a little bit? Like how he pointed it out. Like, man, I used to go to these clubs that these East Coast rappers yell, and they think it messed. It unified a lot of my mind on how I saw hip hop. Because obviously at that time I hadn't been to New York, and I'm thinking of Pac as this like he's overly repping the West, and I'm like, this is kind of complicated.
Giving props to the East Coast on this.
I couldn't see him as a New York rapper because he didn't really mention New York things in his raps that much, and so that's kind of like how I was. Because when I was in San Jose, I always repped Oakland, but I was living in San Jose, kind of going back and forth. So it's like after a while, San Jose cats embraced me. And they kind of was like, man, it's like you rap Oakland so hard, like, it's like you don't forget about us or whatever. Like, is you rocking with us or what? And so I was just like, you can never like it's like Biggie being from Brooklyn. He could move to Queens, but he always gonna rep Brooklyn. So it's just what it was. But this was my chance to do my salute to San Jose, and so I put all my favorite rappers and all the biggest artists that I came up with in San Jose on that track. That's really what it was. And one of my artists in RDV with me and Ramen, he's really into that vibe. His name YDMC. He really is that for our label. He is that person who brought us into that world and he kind of connects us with those Juggalo fans and stuff because he does that. He was like doing that Tyler the Creator vibe early, like the skateboard thug thing. And so I kind of did that. So he from San Jose. He was my number one little homie that came up through my crew. So I kind of did that song for him to have us with a big feature on my album. And then I threw all the biggest San Jose artists on it. And then Kung Fu Vampire being the king of that type of rap in San Jose, I put him on it because we all cool. We all homies and stuff. And so that's kind of what that song was. So it was a leak. It's actually the bonus track of my album. And none of my other songs on the album sound like that. But because I rock with with artists like YDMC and because of Kung Fu Vampire, like some of that realm of music are familiar with my music because I got songs with them like that and stuff like that where I just do guest appearance or maybe a song or two or a video theme where I like horror. I like Halloween and horror movies and stuff. Like I fuck with it. I can do it. But I wouldn't call myself a horrorcore rapper. So it's been a funny conversation with every person I interview because we really dropped this leak in October for Halloween. And we were supposed to be on to the other singles by now. So it's just
so you stuck in that horrorcore thing right now because they like you ain't nothing came out after.
It's just something natural that happened because while she booking the interviews, she was already pushing that song. So like, you know, you got to push the interview like 2-3 months out sometimes. Right. So like it just happened that way. And then Tracks a Million passed away. So like, to me, I'm a real spiritual guy. So like, I look at it like it's a reason this song is out. Like it's a reason that this happened to be out at the time he passed because it had me really thinking about him, thinking about San Jose, thinking about the early days as I'm about to drop what I believe will be my biggest album, Mr. Network 2. It's a reflection right now. And so to give them their love and give San Jose his flowers, show them love, kind of go back to my roots on that, and then drop the other singles. That's kind of why I did it like that. So it's a blessing and a curse because I didn't want people to think I'd just be wilding out, like just wilding out on the horrorcore like that. But it just was a timing thing. We was trying to get the album out. We was trying to get the album in motion this year, but we wanted that to be like the end of the year push. And it just kept getting stretched out it just kept getting love. And so I was like, man, I wonder how the interviewers different, not just y'all, but I was like, I wonder how they gonna take me and think about who I am. Like,
I kind of figured, because I heard. Oh, go ahead, Paul.
Now you want to hear something crazy? So I'm watching this shit on Facebook. Facebook got the captions going.
Oh yeah,
they're like on point. Like, how they doing the caption so quick? It's like captioning our interview right when we talking.
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh shit, man! My Facebook got deleted, man. They deactivated me, so I'm on the YouTube. I'm on the YouTube joint.
Yeah, I have the captions going right now, but it's like doing it right while we're talking. Like
for real.
5 seconds later, whatever you're saying is coming up in the words. I'm like, God,
that's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to step up my technology.
I'm looking at I was reading your bio, man. Why you release your first album in Japan?
Oh yeah, okay. So that's another good crazy. Like a lot of stuff that just happened. I never dreamed it would happen that way, bro. Like it was like I really was I was coming from the old mind state, and I got thrown into the new world kind of fast. I didn't really want to jump into the internet era that fast. I didn't want to jump into the hyphy movement because, like, it wasn't like I'm trying to ride the wave of hyphy, but it's like that's my home. You know what I'm saying? And all that stuff kind of happened to me and became a blessing. Like, so what happened was I was in San Jose. I was living there. I was in that group, like I said, and through the process of that group, I had started working on a solo project. I had a few mixtapes. See, even before the Wheezy era of the mixtape era, see, I look at it like this. There was always that time where DJs would take B-sides or take those instrumentals, like the Funk Master Flex era when he had those albums and he would have the instrumental from like a Wu-Tang song and had Redman rhyming on it. Like, we all know that era existed. But like then when Wayne came with the what we call the mixtape era, it really like became a thing. But it was already a thing. Like people rapping to another rapper's beats. Once LimeWire came out, when you could get access to people's beats, if you was really like trying to bar out, you could get any beat you wanted. So when I first got off my group, I started doing that. I started just rocking to every instrumental I thought was dope. Any hit song, I would just kill it, and I had my own means to record it, and then eventually you could burn them yourself and stuff like that. So that led me to my first solo project, which was called the Little Malcolm EP, and like that's when I was straight raw off the mixtapes. So I'm coming out this group. I'm kind of bitter because the group fell apart, and I didn't get my turn yet. Like we had did 2 or 3 songs. And I used to rock them at the shows, and people liked them and stuff. But I got caught in their group drama, so no hard feelings, because that still got me where got me in the right position. But I had to start over. So once I started over, I ended up working on that project, the Little Malcolm EP, and that was my first alias. I think that was one of my early aliases, because I was working with kids, and I'm really into like I always had a message. Like I never really, like even Vampire Network, it's a metaphor, but it's still a point to the song. Like I'm not really I don't really just make songs with just random topics or like that don't have no sense to them. But like I was having a little fun with that one. But basically, I always made that type of music, like that rabble rousing music, that political statement music. Like I'm not saying all my songs are like that, but that's just a part of who I am. My mom, she was involved with the Panthers. I'm from Oakland. Like we was always doing stuff in the community. Like I was pretty much raised by the social system and the like after school programs and like getting into the extracurricular activities like that. So like when I went to San Jose, I actually went out there to do AmeriCorps and work with kids. So and to join that rap group. So I was doing both already. So when I did the Little Malcolm EP, it was like kind of me coming into my own as a leader too. So I did that, and I was working on it. Like I pieced a couple songs together I had from the group, and my old producer, a couple songs I had, little like songs that never got released. Then I made like 7 or 8 new ones that were real songs to real beats, not somebody else's beat. Right. And so I put them together. I didn't even mix it. And I was doing this. I was in Hip Hop Congress just starting, and I started doing this monthly or this weekly thing where we would take a legend like Malcolm X or Martin Luther King or Angela Davis, and we would do a tribute show at this open mic in San Jose. It was kind of like, you heard of the Good Life in LA? Yeah. Like the thing that Jurassic and them started at. Mm-hmm. This was like a San Jose version of that. You know what I'm saying? And so the Oakland version of that was Telegraph Avenue by Cal Berkeley. That's where all the high roads and the living legends, we used to be over there.
Oh, like Murs. I like
that's
Murs,
where I met Murs.
Grouch.
That's where you could get all those that whole. I'm not saying that's where the whole era, but that's where a lot of people see a lot of the that era coming together was in Berkeley by Cal on Telegraph. But in San Jose, we had this little open mic thing, and so I was starting to bring artists from Oakland, and we was trying to make it big, and we right by the college, so I used to rock there every week, and that was kind of like my hip hop shop, like how M had the hip hop. Every artist got their little time where they go through their growth period. So this is when I learned how to really become a good performer, a solo rapper with my own songs. I learned how to work a crowd. Like, we rocking shows with 2 people, 10 people, 20.
Yeah. You rapping to the chairs. Shit.
You feel me? We outside battling. We selling weed. Like we going to school. We doing everything. We working with kids by day. And I'm doing big shows at night with on the side at clubs and stuff. So, but like more like, see, the thing was I was still pigeonholed more in the hip hop underground because San Jose back then was really that. Like it was real hip hoppy, and so I was kind of like coming from. So I was like an edgy backpack rapper coming from the hood. So like when I came, it was like I was just kind of getting that album was rooted in those days. Like it was rooted in the backpack cypher days. And so when the album came out, it was pretty hot, man. I had some good tracks on there. It was hitting people hard. Like I remember the first song was called Eyes of a Black Man. I came in like, look into the eyes of a black man, whether you Anglo-Saxon, Latin, Asian, or an Afghan. We dropping bombs like the Gap Band. Modern day slave ship, and I'm the captain. Like I was coming like that at like 21. And so what you hearing is a huge evolution. Like I'm actually more of a songwriter artist now. Back then I was just a rapper. So that was my first song on Little Malcolm EP. That's how it started. And so I was basically working on that album, and I ran out. Basically, I didn't have enough money to really get it all the way done the way. Because once I started doing it, the dude who was doing it, he had a little label, and he kind of was like the Hyro. He kind of had a little Hyro in San Jose kind of thing. He had a crew, and he was doing distribution for like Guapale, Hyro Imperium. He was like the man out there. So he was like, man, you ain't got enough money to keep this album going. So I'm going to just give you the best mix I can, and you can just do what you do. Because I didn't understand mixing and how much it costs to get an engineer. I was just a hot rapper. So I always thought, okay, you just going to put me on and help me get a deal. And he was like, nah, you got to take this and run with it. And so when I had it, I just had the files. And I ended up getting, I think my girl bought me a computer, and this one you could start burning your own CDs. So we start burning them, and then one day I was doing this, I was doing one of those weekly cafe shows, and somebody came in. It was one of those regular nights with different people coming in, and somebody came in. It was like some people that was like really feeling it, and so through that guy, he introduced me to more people, and then he started bringing me around like some other people, and then it was like him, a couple girls, a couple other dudes that he was DJing with, and they asked me if I wanted to end up going to Japan one day and do a show out there, or like it was like, we can help you sell your records, we can get you in the stores, and that's how that happened. It was all really like, yo, come to Japan with us. Like it was like a group of people that was like, we can bring you with us. And I just took a chance and went out there, and they set all the rest up. They set up all the business, and then that's how kind of the legend of Mr. Network was born. It just went from like 0 to 100 after that. Because once I went out there, we pushed hella copies. Like we pushed like 5,000. People was buying like 50 at a time, like 100 at a time, just putting yen in my hand. So it just popped. And so what happened was I did it, but it's like, there's no social media, so I can't even prove it. All I had was the disposable cameras. I had the disposable, but I was already like that, bro. I was already a set artist in my head. Like, I'm going to go out here with the disposables. So we just came back, and when we came back, the word had just spread. Like this, when email was starting to get popular, we was promoting through email. We went from hand to hand to email and then instant message. So I would have never learned none of this shit if I stayed in the hood. But I ended up moving to Silicon Valley and learning this shit. So now, and then I'm working with kids. So I got a bunch of different youngsters that's supporting me too, and teachers, and it just grew. And then I got my Oakland roots, and it just grew. And so once I came back, what happened was folks was like, it spread. It spread. The word spread like wildfire. Like, Dlabrie just went to Japan and sold like 5,000 copies. He got this album. I ain't even heard it yet.
Oh,
Nobody had it. Only me and like my inner circle might have heard a couple songs. The dude who mixed it and everything. But basically, once I got back, it was just like, it went from, oh, D over here at the open mic to, hey, why don't you open for the Roots? Why don't you jump on this show with the alcoholics. Why don't you? And then that cat started trying to manage me, and it just grew from there. And then I basically got from there to that's what led me to the next point, which was like getting radio songs and club songs and DJs playing me in the club. And that led to more and growing. It just elevated from there. So once I went there, I just started moving around in Asia ever since. I've been moving around out there and wiggling. Now I got a whole operation out there. But it's set up in Korea though mostly. But I still bounce around to Korea. I still bounce around to Japan and different countries. But I really got a whole setup. We expanded the whole label to Korea now. We moving around. That's the other single I want to give you. Up was the one we got the video out in Japan.
Oh yeah, now. Send them to us because man, usually when we have a good conversation, man, we don't pay attention to the time. But we got another guest coming on at like 5
my
minutes.
bad.
So nah, we good.
I got you.
You can come back whenever you're ready. Come back.
Yeah, for sure. I love these type of interviews where we can chop it up.
Come back and chop it up because that's what we try to do with the artists, man. We let you know. Look, people might like you for something that you do that might not be related to music because you help out the youth, so they might want to listen to your music. So,
right, man, we need that. We need that type of space sometimes. Like, especially like it's a lot of artists that got a lot. Like Ramen, like he got a lot to say, a lot of things that he's done, but he just not some cats ain't all bragging and ain't pushing the same narrative. So ain't
nobody gonna fool with them like that. But like I was listening to the music, we gonna push the music that we do have for you. What
you got? You got Vampire, right? We rocking that. We rocking that a little longer because we got a remix coming with the Outlaws. We got the Outlaws on the remix because if you could hear it, you could tell it was a little bit inspired by Hail Mary.
Yeah,
that was just
fire.
It was an accident that happened because my producer who made it. When he played it for me, he was my little homie, my little Mexican homie. He been with us since he was like 14, 15 in the streets, like tough. We used to try to keep him out the streets, and he used to tag along with our crew. And so, after a while, we rubbed off on him. He like, man, you around me doing all this positive stuff. I want to do something. So he started dropping the beats, and I don't think he thought I was gonna really like him. But when I heard him, I was like, you been hiding all these beats from me.
Oh, yeah.
And so I found that Vampire beat, and I said, this reminds me of Hail Mary. And so that's why the hook is like, what do we have here now? Yeah. Can you relate? The song was really supposed to be me and Kung Fu Vampire and YDMC. That's why I was like letting it be a horrorcore song because it was going to be the bonus track. It was going to be something else that's just a different lane. So then I added on the other San Jose artists because I was like, this becoming like a San Jose anthem. So I just threw everybody else on it. And I threw the horrorcore rappers that I'm friends with that normally we probably wouldn't do a song together. I said, hey, this is a free for all. Everybody that do this style that's been fucking with me, that show us love in this realm.
On the track.
Hop on the song, like do your thing. I'm kind of just having fun. Like, I was kind of had a bad year last year. I had a rough year, personal year. Mm-hmm. And so when I dropped it, I have been pushing up and leaking the other funner songs and the more upbeat songs and more positive songs. But I had a hard time because my publicist and me, we had an issue and he wasn't dropping the songs on time. So I kept getting stuck back at the beginning of the album push. So but I didn't have the singles I wanted out. So I just you know what? I had a bad year. Niggas been playing with me. I'm upset about some things. I said, "Look, man, I'm just gonna give y'all this." Like it was just kind of like a middle finger for a minute. Like man, just take this then.
All right, bro. Yeah, now I got you, fam. Look, definitely come back through, bro. We'll get with MJ and get you back on here because, like I said, I know it's a lot we want to talk to you about. We didn't get a chance to.
It's all good, and my bad for running a little late on chiming in.
Yeah, it's all good. We got the other guests coming in, so we're gonna hit you up, bro.
Okay. And hit me with the email, or I send it to MJ. I send you we got a triple single right now. I just tell the people we really gonna be pushing this triple single for my up and coming album, Mr. Network Part 2. Sure. Part 1 is out. It's been out. That's my biggest album to date, but it's a trilogy. So we dropping Part 2, and we got the triple single, which is Up, which the video is shot in Japan. Be Myself, and this video and this song called Baby Love. It's a 3-part single, and all the 3 videos was all filmed in Asia during the pandemic. So it's like a 3-part film, you know, also. So check that out. Mr. Network should be out by April. And much love, Poe Politicking. Just 2 brothers. Just 2 brothers.
All right.
My brothers. DJ Period and Poe.